Welcome back, America. You know, I search the internet, I search scholarship, I search wherever I can to find these anti-American groups that are out there. They're being birthed like rabbits. They're all over the place. They're heavily funded, many of them by our enemies. They have front groups. They have phony slogans and all the rest. In the Capital Research Center, Ryan Morrow, who's an investigative researcher of extremist groups for the Capital Research Center, they put out a fantastic document, Marching Towards Violence, the Domestic Anti-Israel Movement. And his point here, hold on a second, this has become an anti-American movement where they're trying to overthrow the United States of America. It's a study of the online rhetoric from major pro-Palestinian groups and activists in the United States before and after the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. And it concludes that the activist protests have morphed into an anti-American, anti-police movement. You know, it's like the fusion I've always talked about between the Islamists and the Marxists, with sharply radicalized rhetoric that advocates terrorism and sedition here in the United States of America. An analysis of thousands of social media posts by 496 of the most active so-called pro-Palestinian groups and activists, many of them connected to charities and nonprofits, quote unquote, found a 3,000% surge in calls for violence against the United States and a 186% increase in the use of anti-American and anti-police keywords and phrases since the Hamas-led terrorist attacks on October 7, 2023. What you are saying, Ryan Morrow, is we have now festering in the United States under this nomenclature of pro-Palestinian, enormous number of groups, enormous number of individuals, enormous amount of money seeking to undermine, usurp, and overthrow our own country, correct?
That's absolutely correct. We have done at the Capital Research Center a series of studies to prove this. So it's not just a description, we actually prove this. The first study, Marching Towards Violence, I looked at all of the organizations I could find that are involved in these anti-Semitic, anti-Israel protests across the country, and I identified over 150, including about 70 nonprofits, that are involved orchestrating these protests that are pro-terrorism. I mean, explicitly pro-Hamas, and in most cases, openly Marxist, anarchist, or Islamist, sort of like the Muslim Brotherhood network in the United States, and extremely anti-American. The other study, we did a few, but the most recent one, When Charities Betray America, we looked at the rhetoric of these groups for the 15 months before the October 7th attacks and the 15 months after. And that is where we found nearly a 200% increase